Hello, welcome back. And today we're talking about how to talk to people and be noticed. So we're going to be talking about accepting the invitation, but first you have to become the invitation. And most of us have no idea how to do that, but that's the secret that magnetic, really attractive people have. So let's get into it. And if you're new here, my name is Amanda, and here we talk everything of femininity, elegance, up-leveling ourselves and becoming our best version of ourselves, becoming our own dream girl, so we can live our own dream life. So if you're into that, definitely like, subscribe, and drop me a comment. I'd love to be connected with you. So, this happened to me last Thursday. I'm going to be telling you guys a little story so you can see how this plays out in real life and so you guys can do it too. So the first step is don't be in a rush. If you want to be magnetic, for people to come up to you and talk to you and want to do that, whether you're in this big community event and you want to get the attention of more of the powerful people there, or whether you're just like at the grocery store, or if you're just at this meeting and you just want to get to know people or people to know you. This is all super, super important. So don't be in a rush. And this is really hard because most of us these days, we're always in a rush, right? We're always going on to the next thing. We always have the next thing planned out. We're like, we have to rush through groceries so we can rush and get home, and so we can rush and do dinner, and so we can rush and get the kids put to bed, and then so we can rush and get ready for bed and then go to bed, and then get up in the morning and kind of repeat the whole thing, right? And what are we rushing towards? I want you guys to kind of think about that. Because really what it ends up being is we're pretty much just rushing towards our death. And why rush it, right? Let's soak in the moment. There is no need to be in a rush. And if you have way too many things going on, start cutting things out from your life. All the things you're doing at the end of your life, it's not going to matter. So we can start paring those things down. And I know this is really hard and tough to hear, but you'll kind of see, if you kind of imagine yourself at the last, all of these truths will come back to you. Because a lot of people, when they're on their deathbed, they wish that they spent more time with people, and I forget the other thing, that they took more risks. So let's be the risk taker and let's be in the present moment and just soak it all in. And we do that by not being in a rush. You have to be the invitation. And whether it's because you want a guy to come up and talk to you or whatever it is, you have to first be the invitation. You have to look like you're not going to bite somebody's head off so that they will come up and talk to you. Because guys think that they're the ones that initiate and come up to you, and that they're the ones initiating and they're the ones going and asking you out. But really, you're the one who's being the invitation, inviting them to come over and for them to even feel comfortable to come up and even talk to you. And if you're not getting approached very much by just even people you want to date or just people in general, you might have to just consider your body language and your resting face and just your energy in general. Are you open? Do you have an open heart? Are you sweet and kind and just open to life? Instead of being closed off and rigid and kind of like giving everyone the side eye and giving people like a mean face. Like, look at yourself in the mirror, ask your family, what do you look like when you have your resting face? I used to not have a very good resting face, I can promise you. And when I'm not being aware, I probably still resort back to that sometimes. But just practice thinking nice thoughts because it shows on your face. Everything shows on your face, I promise. And have like a slight smile, like just have like this slight movement towards the sky in your whole face and embodiment. Instead of like this really sinking and dreary look, be kind of more uplifted and like a slight smile on your face. So this should become natural to you after a while. It takes a little while to embody, but really think about it. But going back to the thing of don't be in a rush, that's how opportunities will present themselves to you. Because if you're always in a rush, where can the opportunity come to you? If you're just marching from your car, like in a super big rush, to the grocery store, to the post office, to the meeting, and then back home, like no one's going to want to approach you because they're going to think they're bothering you. And they're afraid you're going to bite their head off if they come up and talk to you. So practice just when you find yourself in those moments where you're like, oh yeah, I am being in a rush, but I don't necessarily have to be in a rush. Slow down, center yourself back in your body, lean your energy back, sit back into yourself. Because a lot of times when we're walking, we're even ahead of ourselves. We're like walking like in front of ourselves and leaving our body behind us, right? It's like just like you're trying to go even faster. But just sit into yourself. Lean your energy back. Be open. Start using your peripheral vision. Like you can start noticing, like the world opens up, right? Instead of being narrow focused, looking at the door of where you're going, you start noticing, okay, there's people here, there's cars, there's this dog, and you become more open. And this is good because you'll know if danger is around because you're being aware, but it also helps for what we're talking about. So when you do that, people will want to come up to you because they'll notice you are totally different from everybody else and you are centered. Like really practice moving slow and being in the moment. Like when someone's talking to you, you're fully present and just listening to them. You're not having a whole bunch of things going through your mind and thinking about the next thing you're going to say or what you have to do afterwards. Be centered. And also when you find yourself in this really rushing energy, like I said, sit back into yourself and just practice moving really slow. Like think graceful, elegant, but move really slow, not in a lazy way, but just start moving slower and that will regulate your nervous system and so you can be present for this. But being really graceful and elegant in your movement, in your walk, in your hand gestures, in the way you speak, all of these things really matter. Okay. So I'm going to tell you guys a little story of how this worked just the other day. I was at the grocery store and it was right after work, and that's where you can be both masculine and feminine. Like I'm really in my getting things done energy at work. But then once you're outside, center back into yourself, get really open and calm and open, like how I am right now. Like you're ready for someone to talk to you. You're open to encounters and all of that. And so get back into that energy. And I was walking into the grocery store. I wanted to get some flowers for my mom. And I was getting ready to go to the checkout line. And instead of going through the self-checkout, I like to go where you actually are talking to a person because, then you get that connection with somebody. And so I went to one of the lanes that were checking out and it was short. There was like nobody there. But the guy who was there went to go get ice. So I was just waiting. And that's the thing, be okay with waiting. So he had gone off with the lady who was checking him out to get ice like farther down, and he was getting a ton of ice. So it took a little while. But instead of being in a rush, instead of me being like everybody else and being like, okay, I'm just going to go to the self-checkout or go find another place and just being in this really rushed energy. No. Like I just stayed there. I was looking at the magazines. I picked out a couple Snicker bars for my dad and my brother. And like get gifts for people. That's also really fun to do. And I was just like waiting and just really calm, relaxed, open. And so he comes back, to pay. And I'm just kind of like standing there. I wasn't going to initiate a conversation or anything. And he gives me a compliment. I think he said, "That's a really beautiful dress." And I was like, "Oh, thank you. That's really sweet of you." And I started asking, and I asked him a question like, how was his day? Or I forget, just regular small talk. And he was getting ice because he was going to go to California for like this whole trip. And so he's telling me like all of these things going on in his life. And we had like this really great conversation. But how does that happen? It happens by you just becoming the invitation. Like I looked approachable and I was calm and ready to, not ready, I was just calm and ready in a sense, but not in a forward moving, just more of a ready to receive kind of way. And like, this is a middle-aged guy, and you can just do this with everybody. Practice doing it with everybody. Because if you try to just, if you're like, okay, I'm just going to wait for somebody I'm attracted to, or I'm just going to do it to the guy I want to date, it's not going to happen. You have to practice with everybody. Otherwise, you're going to choke up and yeah. We all know what that's like. So, I hope that helped you guys. If you want to go deeper into all of this and how to just be comfortable in your own skin, because that's the first step into making any of this possible, definitely check out my course, Divinely Favored. It's linked down below. It is an absolutely amazing, life-changing course. It has everything you need to go from feeling insecure and not really sure of yourself and not really in your power to fully stepping into your power and becoming the woman you were made to be. Okay? This course has everything. And it's really easy to digest and to go through, and this stuff works. So definitely go check that out. There's also a free play sheet down below, and that's where you can get the whole thing that will completely change your mindset and allow you to be your own dream girl. Because it's all in your mind. It's holding you back. So get your mind to work for you. And if you can do that, you can change the world. So, hope that helped you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.